तमिन्नु सरदो अन्तिदेवा जत्रा नशक्रा जरसन्तनु नाम पुत्रासो जत्र पितरो भवन्ति मानो मर्यारीरिखता युर्गन्तोः आदितिर्द्योरादितिरन्तरिक्षमदितिं माता स पिता स पुत्रः विश्वे देवा अदितिः पञ्चजना अदितिर्जातमदितिर्जनित्वं द्योः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगुं शान्तिः पृथ्वी शान्तिः पः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्ति ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वगुं शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सामा शान्तिरेधि। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यास विशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दे यत्पत्रनेत्रम् येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णये प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमया प्रदीपा नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवकी सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वे ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नीलाम्भुजश्यामलकोमलाङ्गं सीतासमारोपितवामभागं पाण्डवमहासायकचारुचापं नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथं। बोले सियापति रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। जगदम्बे मैया की जय। व्यास जी महाराज की जय। सद्गुरुदेव भगवान की जय।
वर्णानां मरतसङ्गानां
रसानाम चंद्र सामपि मंगलानाम चकर्तारो वंदे वाणी विनायको वंदे वाणी विनायको। आरती श्री रामायण जी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की। कीर्ति कलित ललित सिया की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की। कीर्ति कलित ललित सिया की। शेष और सारद वर्णि पवन सुत कीरतनी। आरती श्री रामायण जी की। कीर्ति कलित ललित सिया की। कलिमल हरनि विषय रस पी की। सुभग श्रृंगार मुक्ति युवती की। दलन रोग भव पूरियनी की। पात्र मात्र सब तुलसी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की। कीर्ति दलित ललित सिया की। बोलो आरती श्री रामायण जी की। कीर्ति कलित ललित सिया की। गावत वेद पुराण अष्टदश। गावो शास्त्र सब कंकण कोरस। मुनि धन जन संतन को सर्वस। सार अंश सम्मत सब ही की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की। कीर्ति कलित ललित सिया की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की। श्री राम बोलो। श्री राम 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 श्री रामभद्राय रामचंद्राय वेधसे। रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतये नमः। जय रघुनंदन जय सिया राम। 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 हे दुखभंजन तुम्हें प्रणाम। हे दुखभंजन तुम्हें प्रणाम। दुख भंजन तुम्हें प्रणाम।
हे दुख भंजन तुम्हें प्रणाम।
जय रघुनंदन जय सिया राम।
जय रघुनंदन जय सिया राम।
जय रघुनंदन जय सिया राम। जय रघुनंदन जय सिया राम। सीतापति रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। सभी लोग स्वागत। For those of you who have joined us here in Sri Ram Mandir this evening, April 1st, the year 2022, as we commence our satsang and our journey into what is called Chaitra Navratri, worshiping of the Divine Mother during these 9 days, culminating with the welcoming of the Divine Lord incarnate, Bhagavan Vishnu ka avatar, Prabhu Sri Ramchandra Bhagavan, that is under Navami. As we sit in our homes, those of you who join us on social media, and over the next 9 days, wherever we are engaged, we must be very conscious of this occasion called Navratri and the purpose of this Navratri. There is nothing in life that is within nature that does not have a purpose. Even when the rain falls, there's a purpose. When it hails, there's a purpose. When it snows, there's a purpose. When it's sunny and bright, there's a purpose. Anything that God is involved in, there is a purpose. It's only humanity might be doing things that has no purpose. But anything of nature has a purpose. As such, we must consider that this is an opportunity for us to evolve. And the evolution I'm talking about is evolving for every moment. With every breath we take, we realize it's a gift. Swas swas Prabhu ka naam smaran karenge. With every breath that we take, we must give thanks to God because it is a breath that we did not have. And we have no assurance of that breath. So in the evolution of life, it is breath by breath that we evolve. Not from day to day or birthday to birthday, but from moment to moment. Because there is no one who can assure you of the next. No one can assure you of that. As such, the evolution is such of a nature that we must consider every moment very precious. And having 9 days, or 24 hours a day, 1 week is 168 hours. And then to add another 3 days to that, all of these days to be thankful to God. Wow, what an opportunity. But do we see it as an opportunity? Or do we see it, oh my God, it's Navratri, I have to fast. Oh my God, Bhagavan, I have to go to Mandir. Oh my Lord, I have to... Do we see it as a burden? Or do we see it as a privilege? You know, a child may see it as a burden when they're learning their alphabets. And mother saying, you're privileged to know that you can learn. Because there are those who in the world who are stopped from learning. Where people are stopped from going to school and so on. And we live in a world whereby it's a privilege to go to school. As such, we must see the world as every opportunity, every breath of life as a great privilege. Over these 9 nights of worship, we shall be engaged in trying to understand that this now me and Naudha Bhakti, the 9 nights and the 9 stages to oneness with God. 9 steps to become one with God. Now let me clarify, God is always present in our lives. We cannot get rid of God. But when we say 9 stages to become one with God, is although God is with us, we are not necessarily with God. You know, 2 people can live in the same home, eat from the same pot, off the same table, but they have no relationships. But they see each other every day. They say hello to each other, but there's no relationship. And then some people can be very far apart and have great relationship. In the case of God, Bhagavan is with us, within us at all times, but we, through our karma, distance ourselves from that God. During Navratri, it's a time to reaffirm our relationship, to recalibrate our relationship, to recount the past relationship, and to enhance our relationship going into the future. So it's not that we do not have a relationship with God. We're just trying to get a better relationship. And Navratri is an opportunity to do that. So tonight and the ensuing nights, we shall be reading from the Holy Scripture called the Ramcharitmanas, or Ramayana as it's known. Now many of you, depending on which part of the world you've come from, in particular from India, there are many Ramcharitmanas, there are at least 14. Then there is that 14, and of them, many are written in Gujarati, Marathi, Hindi, and of course there is the original Ramcharitmanas, or Ramayana, that is called the Valmiki Ramayana, which is written by Sant Valmiki Ji. And Valmiki's Ramayana is in Sanskrit, while the Ramayana that we are reading here today is in Hindi. And as such, this Ramayana that we are reading today was written approximately when Christopher Columbus was leaving to come to discover the route to India. Somewhere around 1490 or so, Sant Goswami Tulsidas walked the earth. He was a real man, a real human being, and he took on the task of rewriting the Ramayana in a language that will be easy to read in this day and age, because in this day and age, many people do not read Sanskrit, but there are many who read Hindi. Thus, this Ramcharitmanas that we are reading from, and all of these young people are reading from, is written in Hindi. Someone has my glasses? I give Tiwari ji. Kahan pe? सियापति रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. So, in reading from these scriptures, one has to understand, so what is the value that I get from reading? Like we all read for different reasons. We read basically because of knowledge. We want to get knowledge. And then some people say, I just read for the joy of reading. You're like, there are so many books that are written. We have novel, we have biography, autobiography, history, scripture, literature. But all of these are words that we read with some intention in life. When we read the Ramcharitmanas, the intention is to expand our knowledge of ourselves, our relationship to God, and how we can go through the ups and downs and the peaks and valleys of life and still smile under all conditions. Now we're all told to rise in the morning and start off the day with a positive attitude. That it doesn't matter what you're going to do today, be positive. So what does this positive attitude mean? How do we develop this positive attitude? Do we take a spoonful of positive powder every morning? Some people think they do that with their coffee. When I get my coffee, then my day starts. For some people, it's when they take their first cigarette. For some people, it's their first glass of water. For some people, it's getting their meals. For some people, it's seeing their loved one when they wake in the morning. For some people, it's just rising to the sunshine. So let us all rise to the sunshine this morning, this day, as it's a new dawning of the age in our lives, whereby we rise to the sunshine to glorifying Surya Narayan Bhagavan, the sun. Ehi Suryo Sansho Tejo Rasho Jagatpati Anukampa Mang Deva Grihanaryam Namostute Grihanaryam Namostute. The sun rising in the morning is a glorious sight. To see it and to witness it rise with the aura of its glow all around it and rising to the heavens, looking at the white and blue skies, it adds a picture that is so new, although you might have seen it every day is a new picture. Let us see today, as this Navratri, as a new day to reflect upon our lives and to enhance our existence in this world, to become better and better human beings. Surya Narayan Bhagavan ki jai. ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः
श्रुण्यामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गे सुष्ठुवागं शर्षण्णोभिः यसेमा देवाहितं यदायुः
ॐ स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धस्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नो सार्यपरीक्षणेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम. But before commencing readings from the Ramcharitmanas, we must pay obeisance to Ganesh and the Divine Mother, as we will also be worshipping Durga Ma over these 9 nights. So first to Ganesh. Re ga re ni re sa ni re ga ma pa pa ma ga re sa gare gama pada pama gare gare sa re gare gama pada pama gare gare sa जय जय गणपति मंगलहारी
जय जय गणपति मंगलहारी
जय जय गणपति मंगलहारी
जय जय गणपति मंगलहारी
विनाशक संकट हारी
विनाशक संकट हारी
विनाशक संकट हारी
विनाशक संकट हारी
जय जय गणपति मंगलहारी
जय जय गणपति मंगलहारी
शंभु नंदन कल्याणकारी
शंभो नंदन कल्याणकारी
शंभु नंदन कल्याणकारी
शंभो नंदन कल्याणकारी
गौरीश नंदन जनहितकारी
गौरीश नंदन जनहितकारी
गौरीश नंदन जनहितकारी
गौरीश नंदन जनहितकारी
जन
वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। जय जय गणपति मंगलकारी
जय जय गणपति मंगलकारी
जय जय गणपति जय जय गणेश
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 सिद्धि विनायक जय करुणे
सिद्धि विनायक जय करुणे
ओ सिद्धि विनायक जय करुणे
सिद्धि विनायक जय करुणे
जय जय गणपति जय जय गण बोलो
जय जय गणपति जय जय गणेश
जय जय गणपति जय जय गणेश
जय जय गणपति जय जय गणेश जय जय गणपति जय जय गणेश
जय जय गणपति सिद्धि विनायक जय करुणे जय जय गणपति जय जय गणेश जय जय गणपति जय जय गणपति जय जय गणपति गणपति देवता की जय।
We continue to glorify the divine in the form of the Devis. Slides.
सर्वमंगल मांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते। ओम गिरिजाय विद्महे
शिव प्रियाय धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गा प्रचोदयात् तन्नो दुर्गा प्रचोदयात्।
दुर्गा माता की जय। कोई जाने न जाने महामाया की माया
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 कोई जाने न जाने महामाया की माया कोई
जाने न जाने महामाया की माया
कोई जाने न जाने महामाया की माया
कोई जाने न जाने महामाया की माया
कोई जाने न जाने महामाया की माया।
माता रानी कल देगी आज नहीं तो कल देगी
ओ हो
माता रानी कल देगी आज नहीं तो कल देगी।
हर पल माँ का ध्यान लगा पल माँ का ध्यान लगा,
हर पल माँ का ध्यान लगा,
वो खुशियों की पल देगी।
माता रानी पल देगी, आज नहीं तो कल देगी।
सब लोग गाइए।
माता रानी पल देगी, आज नहीं तो कल देगी।
निर्धन को धनवान करे,
मेरे धन को धनवान करे,
दुखियों के दुख दर्द हरे,
दुखियों के दुख दर्द हरे,
निर्धन को धनवान करे,
निर्धन को धनवान करे,
दुखियों के दुख दर्द हरे,
दुखियों के दुख दर्द हरे,
निर्बल को माँ बल देगी।
आज नहीं तो कल देगी, माता रानी पल देगी, आज नहीं तो कल देगी।
तू संकट से ना घबरा,
तू संकट से ना घबरा,
ये सबके लिए दो दिन का,
ये सब खेल है दो दिन का,
ये दिन भी हो बदल देगी।
आज नहीं तो कल देगी, माता रानी पल देगी, आज नहीं तो कल देगी।
कोई जाने ना जाने महामाया की माया, बोलो
कोई जाने न जाने महामाया की माया,
कोई जाने ना जाने महामाया की माया,
कोई जाने न जाने महामाया की माया,
कोई जाने ना जाने महामाया की माया।
माता रानी पल देगी, आज नहीं तो कल
देगी, आज नहीं तो कल देगी,
आज नहीं तो कल देगी।
कोई जाने ना जाने महामाया की माया।
Who knows? Who knows what is in store for us in this world? Who could have envisioned 2.5 years ago that so many, the entire world would have been affected or afflicted by this thing called COVID-19? We all had plans. There were weddings, vacations, all kinds of things, marriages, all plans, and all had to be changed. And it doesn't matter whether we are rich or poor, educated or uneducated, powerful or not powerful. This little germ brought us all to our knees. Koi jane na jane, Mahamaya ki maya. No one knows, who knows what this Maya has in store. So we must take nothing for granted. Every breath of our lives must be part of the evolution process to become one with the divine. And that is the purpose of our gatherings over these nights, to bring us closer to that reality of oneness with God. In the first readings tonight, we shall be reading from Balkand of Ramcharitmanas. And Balkand, meaning the children's book, if you want to call it that, but it's also the beginning story, the beginning or the preliminaries to getting there. The preliminaries, last night I was watching a movie that's called 83. Did anybody watch this movie? About an Indian cricket team that finally won the World Cup in 1983. Did anyone else watch this movie? I suggest it's good watching. It is not about cricket. It is about life challenges. But it also shows about not an individual or a team, but how the individual influenced the team, how the team influenced the other teams, and how all the other teams influenced the country, and how all of them influenced the world. This is called evolution and change. That we all have, to some degree, not control over what evolves around us, but how we evolve within what is evolving around us. And tonight we want to talk about that, evolution. And what are the things that makes us become different? Some people say, Panditji, you know, the new clothes I'm wearing. Some people say, well, you know, the new house I'm living into, or the new job that I have, or, you know, my new degree. All of these things contribute, but they do not contribute as much as we have a change of state of mind. When I say I like something or I dislike something, the change that happens at that moment, it's a metamorphosis. It takes us from being a monster to a child, or from a child to being a monster. And nothing has changed on the outside, just our state of mind. It is that change and that evolution that we will be talking about tonight. And in the first reading from the Ramcharitmanas, I will ask you to focus your mind as we invoke, do some invocations, and then we shall commence reading. We shall do this Ramayana Sumira. जो सुमिरत सिद्धि हो गणनायक करी करऊ अनुग्रह सो
राशि शुभ गुण सजना
नील सरोरुषा करुण अरुण वारिजनयनम करौ
सुमम मूलधा सदा क्षीर सागर शयना
कुंडलिंदु समदे
उमारमण करुणायना
जाहि दीन हरने करो कृपा मर्दनमयन बंदो गुरुपद कन
कृपा सिंधु नर रूप हरि
महामोहतम
तम पुंज जासु भजन रवि कर निकरा
सियावर राम
रामचंद्र की जय
उमापति
महादेव की जय
पवन सुत
हनुमान की जय सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम.
In these opening verses, you and I are appealing to God in the different form. And amongst those forms, there is the form of course, Ganesh. Ganesh, we appeal to first to bring our faculties to focus, to bring our vision, our hearing, our sight, our sense of smell, our sense of touch, all of these to be converging on one thing, to be engaged in listening to this katha. Now, you want to know what the eyes have to do with listening. Well, if you're looking over there and seeing something as your ear is only hearing, it's not focused. But if your eyes are focused on internally and you're hearing, then you are in tune. But you know, the eyes could be very active and the ears are just hearing, it's not listening. Like many of you could be doing that right now. Your eyes could be on me, but you're not hearing me. Your thoughts are something. So, mansa, karma, vacha, all must be focused, and thus Pratama Dhyan, Ganapati Devata. And then of course we contemplate Saraswati and all of the other deities to stimulate our intellect. And we appeal to our Guru, Bando Guru Padakan Kripa Sindhu Nara Rupa Hari. I bow to the lotus feet of that Guru whose Kripa Sindhu, who's the most compassionate and understanding being, and whose Nar Rup Hari. Nar means man, Rup form, Hari God, meaning God in human form. Kripa Sindhu Nara Rupa Hari Mahamoha Tamapuj Jasu Vachana Ravikara Nikara, that my eyes and my intellect will open as if 1,000 suns were lit in my mind and enlightening me to the greatest brightness of the world. That shyness, that glows, that is beyond all glows, the glow of enlightenment. That is the verbatim translation of these words and the essence and the moral value of these words. Now we proceed to read from Ramcharitmanas, whereby Sant Goswami Tulsidas explains to us page 4 for the group. Chaupai on the right hand side. Page 4. It's Majjana Palva, that's the wrong. Oh, you got the right book, right? Shivi? Shiv, you have the correct book? No, that's not the right book. Tara, you gave her the wrong Raman. The big one knows. There's a big one in the back. Okay. She can find it. Let her go. She knows what it is. Sri Ram Jai Ram. बोलो बक उमरा ला सुनिया चर्च करे जन कोई
सुनिया चर्च करे जन कोई
सत्संगति महिमा नहीं कोई
सत्संगति महिमा नहीं कोई
वाल्मीकि नारद घट जोनी
वाल्मीकि नारद घट जोनी
निज निज मुकुनि कहीं निज होनी
निज निज मुखनि कहीं निज होनी
जल चर थल चर नभ चर नाना
चर 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 नभ चर नाना
तेजर चेतन जीव जहाना
जे
मति कीर्ति गति भूति भलाई।
मति कीर्ति गति भूति भलाई।
जब जेहि जतन जहाँ तेहि पाई।
जब जेहि जतन जहाँ जेहि पाई।
सो जानब सत्संग प्रभाव।
सो जानब सत्संग प्रभाव।
लोकहु वेदन आनव पाऊ।
लोक वेदन आनव पाऊ।
श्री राम जय राम।
जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
The great saint, writer Sant Goswami Tulsidas writes that there is no such a thing that we cannot change. We tend to say, that's the way they are, they can never change. But change can occur. But change cannot occur by only external influences. The greatest change occurs from internal influences. When you and I convince ourselves we want this to happen, that change will happen. But if 10 people are telling us that we need to change, the chances of it happening are very slim. Change is internal. It could be influenced externally. We can have different items, motivating factors motivating us, but we need to have to want to change. And change is something we cannot avoid. The one constant in life is change. We're all getting older by moment. We're all aging, our hair is getting gray. Our body is feeling different effects. Our metabolic and anabolic systems are constantly doing things, causing our body to either contract, grow, or deteriorate. So we cannot avoid change. But here Sant Goswami Tulsidas says that this change that we talked about, that I'm talking about, is the change that transforms us from inside. That it's instant. The minute we decide, make a decision, that change is instant. If I say that I will lose 10 pounds, there's no instant change until I start dieting and so on. But when I commit myself mentally to that change, I feel I will lose weight. And if I'm mentally committed, change occurs instantly. My entire body system starts reacting to the mental states I've created. I'm able to say to myself, I will eat less. And I'm convinced that eating less will be good. I'm able to say to myself, I will exercise. And I'm convinced the change is happening. And by the way, mentally, that change is going to have physiological impact. In that moment, we make that decision and convince ourselves that we need to do this, the change is occurring. But if I say, okay, I'll make a resolution, I'm going to lose 5 pounds, we'll see how it goes tomorrow. Tomorrow will come and the next day will come and no change is made. But when we made that mental change and commit ourselves mentally, and we do that, what is called as sankalp. The Sanskrit word sankalp means a commitment with God, for God, in the name of God, through our karma. That is sankalp. And we do sankalp all the time when we do offering of prasad, we give gifts or whatever we exchange, we do sankalp because always done in the name of God, in the witness of God, and for the benefit of all humanity in the name of God. Sitapati Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai. Sant Goswami Tulsidas says, in the first doha we chanted, that one must never be awed or amazed by the transformation that can happen when we make a mind change. He makes a reference. Those of us who are from the Caribbean will know the hummingbird of Trinidad, or in other countries of the world they call the cuckoo bird, a bird, little bird. In Canada we have lots of them. You're walking now, if you're walking out, you'll hear them in the trees. They go, make little birds, and they have little beaks. And they suckle all of the flowers and they select honey, and they transform and they promote pollination, and so without their movement there will be no pollination, you will not get any fruits and so on. And as such they're doing that. Now they are beautiful things. And then on the other hand there's another bird that we call the eagle or the carrion crow, in the birds that eats off of dead animals. They are birds also. Now you wouldn't want to be associated with those birds, would you? But these birds, you want to touch them and play with them. But can you imagine that the crow that is flesh eating and transform itself to this cuckoo bird? Can you see that happening? The scripture says that in human nature that can happen. And you know, there is an example in nature that we all see. How many of us have seen a caterpillar, a real life caterpillar? Have you ever seen a real life caterpillar? Back home? Have you ever seen a butterfly? Do you know that it's that caterpillar that became the butterfly? Do you know it was that caterpillar that became the butterfly? मेरा mic है थोड़ा सा movement. It is that caterpillar that has become the butterfly. And the butterfly is so pretty. It's so beautifully. Children don't want to play with it. But you wouldn't want a child to go near to a caterpillar, would you? But the caterpillar, through the process we call metamorphosis, opens up, and then the caterpillar disappears and the butterfly appears. Sant Goswami Tulsidas is saying that when we commit ourselves to something of a good nature, it's like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. And we all have the potential to be butterflies and soar high. Not necessarily physically flying, but to feel good about who we are because of how we feel about what we do and how we relate to all of God's other creationship. That makes us, that transformation from that eating, that crow that eat carrion, to the cuckoo bird or the hummingbird of the Caribbean. Sitapati Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai. And he said, let it be known. Mati kirti gati bhuti bhalai, jab jahi jatan jahan jahi pai, so janav sat sang prabhu, lokahu vedan an Let it be known that which at any time, at any place, or any person, where goodness has come, where there's been a transformation that has been positive, to bring positive results, let it be known that that transformation occurred due to the association that we are engaged with. Let it be known that the transformation occurs due to the association. So you go to the doctor, and the doctor says you need to go on a diet because your blood pressure or your sugar level is high, and then you go away and you go on a diet and your life changes, you feel happier. What was the association? The one with the doctor. That association gave you knowledge, and you went out and put that into practice. But without that association, you would not know what to do. So the association is the place where you gather, learn, and evolve from the learning. So he's saying, let it be known that if we want to evolve in this world and want to change, we cannot do this without association. And it has to be positive association, good association. Now there is negative association. You can go to a company of unwise people and you can also learn. Or you can go in a company of very wise people and not learn. What's the difference? It is the attitude with which we go to the place. It is not necessarily the company, but with the right attitude and the right place, with the right association, transformation can occur. Now, there is in Ramcharitmanas, and I'm sure all of our students know this very much. Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Raghupati Om
प्रथम भक्ति संतन कर संगा दूसरी कथा प्रसंगा रघुपति राघव राजा राम। प्रथम भक्ति संतन कर संगा दूसरी रति मम katha prasanga. He said the first step is to go and be in the right company, and the second step is to have the state of mind while you're in the company. So if you go into a negative environment and you have a positive attitude, you can still come out learning. If you go into a positive environment with a negative attitude, you'll come out not knowing. So the attitude and the association has to both be positive for you to get full win-win situation. Attitude determines our altitude. Our attitude in life determines how well we will rise in the world and how we will evolve. Here Sant Goswami Tulsidas is talking about the attitude, and then he complements this with a beautiful chopai that everyone who reads Ramayana knows. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama.
Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Bolo.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Satsang. सत्संगति मुद मंगल मूला बोलो सत्संगति मुद मंगल मूला सोई पल सीधी सब साधन बोलो सोई पर श्री राम जय राम जय जय रामा।
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय रामा।
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai
Rama.
These words are so simple but yet so profound. Bina satsang, without good association, bina satsang vivek nahi hoti hai. Knowledge can never dawn upon us. Or the state of enlightenment. You know, you may read, but you don't understand. You may be told, but you don't understand. You may listen, but you did not understand. So it's not only listening, reading, and engaging. It is understanding is where the change occurs. If I do not understand, there can be no change. That understanding comes with tan or man, arpan, and the glorification of Ganesh in all of our activities, that let my mind be engaged. Ma Saraswati stimulate my intellect. So when I read, when I see, when I hear and I become in tune, I will be enlightened. That is the light that we call enlightenment. And it's Bina Satsanga Vivekaniyut. The first step is to go in the right place. And the second step is to have the right state of mind and know it to be that when you reach that right state of mind, it is a blissful moment. Rama Kripa Bina Sulabana Soy. It is through the compassion of God that you reach that state of enlightenment, because you go and you never learn, and then suddenly the bulb went on. You said, what happened? How did I? It's an amazing thing. Or you know when someone is trying to tell you and you say, I got it, don't worry. It seems so clear. And then sometimes it's so dark you can't seem to know anything. The darkness that exists in our mind is because of the state of our mind. So that is why when students are going to school, we tell them to contemplate Saraswati, to bring intellectual status, and Ganesha and Saraswati to stimulate the intellect and focus the mind, that when they are given information, they are not only like a sponge that absorb it, but then they analyze it, and then it becomes information, data that transfers to information that becomes intelligence and leads to wisdom in their action. Siddhapati Ramchandra Bhagavan ki Jai. Now, on page 5, the second doha, or item number 3 down, please. Bandhu. Bandhu sant saman chit, Bandhu sant saman chit, hit anahit nahi ko, Anjali gat subhi suman jani, Samasu gand kar do siya. Umavati Pavan Sut Sant Goswami Tulsidas, in his dissertation on these qualities, says he praises the saintly type of people. And he praises the saintly type of people. Who are the saintly type of people? Are they the people who sit in the Himalayas and go into tapasya constantly? Can we not become saintly type of people? Yes, we can. In this Grihastha ashram, those who sit in the mountain foothills of the Himalayas, they are in the sannyasi or sannyas or brahmachari state. They've chosen to stay as a brahmachari and never to get involved in the grihas, and don't have to get involved in vanpras. They go from brahmachari to sannyasi. But you and I, we started with brahmachari, then we go to grihast, that is family life, vanpras, retirement, and then hopefully to sannyas state. And he says, does that mean that because we are in grihastha ashram, that we cannot be of a saintly state? Of course we can. It is, we are karma yogis. They are jnana yogis. We are karma yogis. Karma yogis mean through our actions in our everyday life, we are yogis. But the yogi that we're talking about here is that Sant Goswami Tulsidas is saying, those saintly people are like the flowers. He says if you take a flower and you crush it in your hands, you crush it with all the anger and you throw it away, smell your hands. The flower left its best qualities with you. But yet, you've crushed the essence of life out of it, and he says, take my best qualities with you. That is the essence of a saint, who gives and continue to give. Whether you're squeezing or crushing, dominating, they only give the goodness of their heart. Now, don't put your hands up. You may know someone like this. But then ask ourselves, how close are we? No one is crushing us in the world. We don't have to be crushed for our fragrance to come out, does it? Or we have to be squeezed, or arms twisted maybe a little bit. You twist the arm, then they give money, right? You bother them enough to give them money? No, no, no. When we give, not money, but when we give from ourselves, that is the fragrance of the flowers. You know the flower, you don't have to crush it to get its fragrance. You hold it in your hands, it gives you fragrance. You crush it, you still get the fragrance. It doesn't matter what you do, the fragrance is the fragrance from the flower. It doesn't matter what's happening in life, we must give the fragrance constantly. Siyapati Ramchandra Bhagavan ki Jai. Sant Goswami Tulsidas continues
And in our Katha tonight, on page 6, Doha, at the bottom, Bhalo bhalai telalaye Bhalo bhalai telalaye Bhalo lehni chai neech o Rama lehni chai Sudhasrai amrit garal sarhi neech siyavar pavan sut hanuman ki jai Sant Goswami Tulsidas is making it clear to us that remember we live in a world that whereby there is poison and there is honey. God made them both. He made poison and made honey. Now, poison has its qualities. It's poison. It's not the perfume poison I'm talking about. Not the Chanel perfume that they call poison. That's what I'm talking about. It's poison. But you know the poison is used to save people's life? Poison is applied in such a way, it is used in medical practices to heal people. But yet it's poison, it can kill you. Now you all know that we cannot exist without water, right? And our body is 74% of water or more. What happens if we immerse ourselves underwater for a long time? We will die. That which is good for us can also destroy us. It depends upon how we use it. And he says poison and honey both have a place. They all have their own qualities. Let us value them for their qualities and apply them in the appropriate ways, and they will bring benefit to us. Even poison is a value. So as we associate and live in the world, we may come into contact with people who are like the honey and the poison. We have to see them both having value. That some of them might be sweet like honey and be poison, or be poison and then you see them as honey. So the point is, it is how you relate to them that really their poisons may affect you, or their honey will affect you. As such, in life, Sant Goswami Tulsidas go on to tell us that life is a series of opposites. And on page 7, we read in Chaupai, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai
Dukh Sukh Paap Punya Din Rati Bolo
Dukh Sukh Paap Punya Din Rati
Sadhu Sadhu Sujati Sujati
Sadhu Sadhu Sujati Sujati
Danav Deva Ucha Aru Nichu
Danav Deva Ucha Aru
Amiyat Sujivat Mauri Nichu Maya Brahma Jiva Jagadisa
Maya
सुरसरी अविनासा मरुमारव महिदेव गवासा सरग नरक अनुराग विरागा निगम गम गुण दोष विभागा श्री राम जय जय श्री राम जय जय श्री राम जय जय Sant Goswami Tucharas makes a very general statement, and he says, be wary of the fact, humankind, that we live in a world of opposites. There is night and day, darkness and light, good and evil, pain and joy. There is always opposites. So do we live in a world of joy that can exist without pain? Can we live in a world of happiness that can exist without unhappiness? Can we live in a world of success without failure? It's impossible. All successes are built upon a series of failures. And the wise person will look upon every failure as a step towards success. That when you couldn't succeed, then that is giving you a motivation to look at what you didn't do right and say, do it right so you can make the next step. So we cannot avoid the world of opposites. And as such, that we must not belittle ourselves or resign ourselves to saying, this is the way my life is because I'm only having the bad or the negative happening to me. No, we must have this important thing called hope. Hope. How do you describe hope? What is hope? To have hope. Is it to have money? You have hope? Hope is beyond money and strength and wealth. Hope is a state of mind. If you have all the money and the strength and all the things in the world and you do not believe in yourself, then unhappiness prevails. But if you may not have any of those things and you believe in yourself, then you'll rise. So this thing, hope, is when everything seems like it's not going to work out, have hope that it will. It can. It's called the positive attitude today. But the foundation principle is have hope. And put your hope not in another person. Put your hope in God and yourself. Remember, through His grace we breathe. Through His grace the sun shines. And through His grace everything happens. And without His grace, nothing can be. मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा करते आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो, everything is working. I know two people who one day they're in love, the next day they're fighting, the next day they want to divorce, the next day they are the best of friends. And I've been meeting with them, by the way, it's no reference to anyone here. And then every time I meet them, there's a different situation going on in their life. And I says, it's interesting. I want you all to know that it doesn't matter how you all wake up and look at each other, there's certain things that stay the same way. No, but it is not. We get up in the morning and we are different. I say, yeah, you are, but the sun still comes out. Whether you like each other or not, the sun will rise at the time it's supposed to rise. Whether you are happy or unhappy, that will happen. Oh, the season will come, by the way. Spring will come, summer will come, fall will come, winter will come. You can still be fighting. That will still continue. So do you want to work with the seasons, or you just want to be stuck in your season? We create seasons in our lives. A season of unhappiness, season of stress, season of distress, season of high blood pressure. We create them. But by the way, the sun has its own seasons in the rain, and that doesn't change because of our blood pressure or our cholesterol or any of that. It's just, that's your problem. I'm doing my thing. Mera aapki kripa se. So in this concept of evolution that we are talking about tonight and the ensuing nights, is that don't blame your condition on some external thing. Oh yes, we can say, well, I have COVID because of this germ. No fact. You've been given the information now, but you have now an option to get vaccinated. And whose option is that? Yours. The government cannot force the vaccine on you. Not in this country anyway. But there are many people who choose not to take it. They give good reasons also. But we are given the opportunity to make changes in our lives, regardless of what the conditions are. But do we make the right choices? And that is the evolution. It is the choices that we make in life that makes us who we are here or hereafter. Let me conclude with that. It is the choices we make in life that makes us who we are here and hereafter. The choices are not that I will go to the movie tomorrow, or I will take the choices about who am I? How can I be a better person? How can I evolve and maintain a relationship with God, and an ongoing relationship that I'm always like this with God? Like they say, you and I are this, right? Is that what they do with Sunita? This finger, right? No, we must be like this with God. Siyapati Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai. I would like to conclude with this final doha, page 7. The Lord created this world with things that are animate and inanimate. This entire universe is considered of these things. And they're all endowed with virtues and defects, including you and I. We have virtues and we have defects. There is no such thing as a perfect human being. But there's nothing saying we must not strive for that perfection. So don't think you're better than the other person, nor should we think we're lesser than the other person. So in this evolution process, we need to start off with the foundation principle of who we are. I am a child of God. हम भगवान को संतान हैं, and I have a purpose in this world, and I have the ability to achieve the purpose,
And the ultimate goal is to oneness with God. In a nutshell, that's what life is all about. So tonight we've talked about that evolution to ultimately gain that goal starts off with a learning process. And we call this learning process satsang. That whereby with the right company that we are associated with, combined with the right frame of mind, we are now positioned to rise. And there are many stages in rising to this ultimate state that we call moksha. And by the way, moksha is achieved while we are alive, not when we die. So tomorrow night and the ensuing nights, we will continue to discuss what are the different phases that we shall pursue as we evolve in life to become one with the Lord. Siyapati Ramchandra Bhagavan ki Jai. Let me take this opportunity to thank all of you for being here tonight. And Tara, where are you? We want to celebrate the birthday of a wonderful person. Let's give Tara ji a very big hand, please. Now we have Tara over here. This is Tara, our Kirtan Mandali star. But we have Tara, the other star, who's a very strong supporter of this Mandir. I think this Tara comes to the Mandir more often than this Tara does. And she's here giving of herself, time, and valuable commodities that she brings to the Mandir, including the flowers regularly. And she's celebrating her, is it your 25th birthday today, Tara? 25? 17? Okay. 7-0. Oh no, we can't tell that, but she's celebrating her birthday. So let's wish Tara a happy birthday, please. बार बार दिन ये आए, बार बार हजारों साल our sincere wish that God bless you with strength and health and vitality for 100 years at least. And you continue to be the wonderful servant of humanity and Ram Mandir. We love you. Give her a big hand, please. And is there anyone who's brought prasad to offer that did not offer your prasad? If you have, please bring it. Prasad liya. The list. Oh, birthday names. And while we are preparing to offer prasad for those who brought prasad, let me also mention that we are celebrating April 1st birthday of Mr. Jaswant Dheer, Yudhishthir Adhalaka, Ms. Veena Lukanathan, Pareen Ramesh, Gudarshan Sidhu, and Tara, of course, we celebrated. Let's give them all a wonderful round of applause. And we will ask Shivi to do for us a short bhajan before we close.
रघुनंदन जय सिया राम। सीतापति रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. On behalf of the hardworking team at the Ram Mandir, there's a lot of people involved in putting together this yajna, making the mandir, prepare, cleaning, decorating, and making sure bhojan is prepared, the asana is prepared, the pandit is preparing the vedi, and lots of work is done in the background. We want to remind you that tomorrow, we at the Ram Mandir is hosting our spring cleaning day. And that starts from 9:30 in the morning. We're inviting you to help us to do the spring cleaning in the Mandir. We invite families, young and old, to join us. We are preparing a breakfast for everybody. Breakfast will be available from 9:30 to 10:30. There'll be leftovers of which your stragglers coming along. But from 9:30 to 10:30, breakfast, and then we work. We'll be cleaning the outside, repairing the parking lot, cleaning the inside, doing all of what we can do, cleaning the windows, whatever, throwing away all the junk. We have a big bin out there. We are just getting rid of, we want to get rid of about 1 ton of stuff. We have 1 ton of extra things here. Not the people, just the materials we're getting rid of. And lighten up the place. So we want you to come and join us for spring cleaning. And when you've practiced with us, you can go home and practice. You'll become an expert here and then practice what you've learned here to clean at home. So again, tomorrow morning at 9:30. And by the way, I want you to know that I am a very good cook. And I'm engaged in organizing the cooking. You know what I said? Organizing the cooking, right? But I will be guiding the people cooking to make sure that they have palatable food, delectable delights will prepare to please your palates. I assure you, you will feel good after breakfast, and even better when you've done some work, because it's work that you will not be paid for. It's totally Gupta Dan and Seva, giving your time and effort. So we want to see all the young people, especially the young people. And mom, give them some broom and some brushes, and give them masks and gloves to come out to help us tomorrow. If you didn't bring any, we will have also. So we need everyone to help us tomorrow for spring cleaning. Navratri commences today and continues until April 10th. On April 10th, it is Navami or Ram Janam. And on that day, we have a very special program starting at 10 a.m. and concluding at 1:30. And that is when we do our normal programming and then Ram Janam Puja. And then in the evening, we complement the day with 2 hours of Ram Bhajan. Just singing bhajans to dedicate Bhagavan Ram, glorifying, celebrating his coming into our lives. And then of course the following week, we celebrate Hanuman Jayanti, and that program will be from 3 to 9 p.m., 6 hours of chanting the Ramcharitmanas, Sundarakand, and also chanting Hanuman Chalisa, Bhajan, Kirtan, and Puja. And on that day, we invite people to bring bananas and apples to offer to Hanumanji. So these are some of the things, all the fruits that are collected on that day will be going to the food bank. And also whatever grains Andan is given on those occasions, we will be making a delivery to the Mississauga food bank, of which we are a major contributor. We received 2 awards from them already for our contributions of food to the needy. So we ask you to bear this in mind. As you're coming during Navratri, bring some packages that will be given to the food bank. The boxes are set up for food bank. They are, and you can drop them in the boxes in the corridor, or you can leave them with the pandits and it'll be given. Did I cover all of the announcements? Yes. Now we invite everyone to stand for Arati. Sabhi log kare jaye. Indira Ramdial will be standing in the middle, and she will give you some sanitizing in your hands. Please sanitize before you go to the thali.
Jai Shama Gauri
नर मुनि जन सेवत
जिनके दुखहारी
ओम जय अम्बे
गौरी मैया जय श्यामा गौरी
आनंद कुंडल शोभित
नासा के मोती
कोटिक चंद्र दिवाकर राजत
समझोती
ओम
जय अम्बे गौरी मैया जय श्यामा गौरी
ओम जय अम्बे
गौरी मैया जय श्यामा गौरी
बोलो सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वतवासिनी
सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वतवासिनी
तेरा पार पाया तेरा पार पाया। सभी लोग हाथ जोड़कर let us all clasp our hands and parents show the children बच्चों सुनो और देखो हाथ जोड़कर we clasp our hands in front of our chest and we bow our heads in this humble state. We appeal to God for forgiveness, to forgive us for the errors that we might have made here knowingly or otherwise, and to guide us into the future. That during these 9 nights of Navratri, that as we endeavor to evolve into the state of becoming oneness with God, let us be guided, tan or man, body and mind dedicated to the objective. We may be short in many ways, but O Lord, forgive us our inefficiencies and look and guide us to rise above them so that we become better and better human beings each day of our lives. As we pray, I invite you to listen to the voice of Shivana Sharma as she will lead us in closing prayers. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Tvameva Mata च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुः च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव
Om Shanti Antariksham
शान्ति पृथिवी शान्ति रामा शान्ति वृषदय शान्ति वनस्पत्य शान्ति विश्वदेव शान्ति ब्रह्मा शान्ति सर्वं शान्ति
Shanti Deva Shanti Samam Shanti Devi शीश झुकाकर धरती पर प्रणाम गुरुर् ब्रह्मा गुरुर् विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुर् साक्षात् परम ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः असतो मा
सर्वमय
तमसो मा
ज्योतिर्गमय
मृत्युर्मा
अमृतं गमय
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्।
बोली सियापति रामचंद्र भगवान
की जय
उमापति महादेव की जय गणपति भगवान
की जय,
लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान
की जय,
हनुमान जी महाराज
की जय,
सद्गुरुदेव भगवान
की जय,
धर्म की
जय हो,
अधर्म का
नाश हो,
प्राणियों में
सद्भावना हो,
विश्व का
कल्याण हो,
धरती माता की
जय हो,
भारत माता की
जय हो,
नमः
पार्वती पते, हर हर महादेव, हर हर महादेव। सच्चे सनातन धर्म की जय। We wish you the best for the evening and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue with Ram Katha. Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Bolo
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Bolo Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
रघुपति राघव राजा राम,
रघुपति राघव राजा राम.
रघुपति राघव राजा राम,
रघुपति राघव राजा राम.
पतित पावन सीताराम,
पतित पावन सीताराम.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। बोलो
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम। सीतापति रामचंद्र भगवान की जय, उमापति महादेव की
की जय।
सच्चे सनातन धर्म